All right, let's talk about Peaky Blinders, the Immortal Man. Now, this isn't just another sequel, not at all. This is the final, dark, and deeply historical chapter for Tommy Shelby. This is not a victory lap, it's a reckoning.
And this right here, this quote, tells you everything you need to know from the get-go. If you were expecting a triumphant Tommy Shelby to return to the throne, forget it. What we get instead is a man in self-imposed exile, just completely broken, tired, and haunted by everything he's ever done. It immediately flips the script on any kind of classic hero's return. So, to really get to the heart of this tragic ending, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the man behind the myth. Then, we're diving into the legacy of a dark world. After that, we'll get into that core conflict of father versus son. Then, we'll explore this idea of one evil against another. And finally, we'll witness the fall of the immortal.
Okay, so first things first. Why does he even come back? I mean, he was out, right? He chose that quiet life. Well, it's not because he's hungry for power or wants to reclaim his throne. Nope. He is dragged back, purely and simply out of absolute family necessity.
And this really says it all. Every single step Tommy takes back toward Birmingham feels heavy. He's not orchestrating some grand comeback. He's answering a call from the exact life he fought so hard to escape. This journey, it isn't a triumph. It's a consequence.
Now, let's zoom out a bit and talk about the world this all takes place in, because the setting here, it's so much more than just a backdrop. It's practically its own character, just steeped in this grim, heavy history that shapes every single thing that happens.
So we're in Birmingham in 1940. The city is already scarred and battered by the Second World War, but the soul of this place, its whole atmosphere, is tied to a much older kind of darkness, that long, suffocating shadow cast by Britain's industrial age.
And this is such a smart connection the film makes. Now, to be clear, the story isn't set in the Victorian era, but it's living in its ghost. It is the grim inheritor of that time. You can feel it, the smoke, that ruthless ambition, the power plays that built an empire. All of it has curdled into the ruins and moral decay of 1940. It's like a post-industrial hangover, you know? The bill is finally coming due.
It's this dark, heavy world that yanks Tommy back in, and it does it through the one thing he can never truly escape, his family. Right at the heart of that, you've got this central conflict that is, well, deeply personal and just dangerously explosive.
So can a son forgive a ghost? I mean, think about that. That question really frames the whole fraught relationship between Tommy and his estranged son, Duke. See, Duke was raised in his father's shadow, or really in his absence. And now he's gotten himself tangled up in this incredibly dangerous Nazi conspiracy. This forces Tommy's hand, and it just dredges up a whole past of resentment and neglect.
You know, Duke is kind of like a broken mirror of his father. He's got all the same fire, the same reckless ambition, but absolutely none of the hard-won experience or calculated control that Tommy learned. He represents this new generation that, frankly, Tommy is terrified of, a generation that could burn it all down and a whole lot faster. So this isn't just some family squabble. No, this is a clash of legacies.
And from that intense family drama, the story just pulls the camera way back. It reveals his much larger, ideological war that's brewing. Yeah, the stakes are way, way bigger than just the streets of Birmingham this time around.
The Nazi plot here, led by the antagonist John Beckett, isn't about street violence. It's way more sophisticated. We're talking economic warfare. They're using things like counterfeit money and smuggling to cripple the British war effort from the inside out. This elevates the whole conflict, right? It's not just another gang war. It's a hidden, ideological battle.
And this is what creates such a fascinating paradox. You have Tommy Shelby, a man who is literally a product of England's criminal underworld, and now he's the only one who can actually stand up to this much larger, more sinister global evil. The gangster has to fight something much, much worse than other gangsters. Okay, so all of this, all these threads, they're all leading us straight to the climax. This is the absolute heart of the story. It's where that title, The Immortal Man, is finally taken apart, piece by piece, and we learn its true tragic meaning. This is where we realize his legendary ability to survive has been completely reframed. His so-called immortality, it was never a gift. It was a punishment, a curse. The curse of outliving everyone, of carrying every single scar, and being trapped by a legend that will never let you rest. You see, he hasn't been winning all this time. He's just been enduring prolonged suffering. So as Tommy moves in to confront this final threat,
The film makes one thing painfully, brutally clear. Even if he succeeds, even if he saves the day, there is a profound and final price to be paid. There's just no walking away clean this time. So he does it. He saves his son. He defeats his enemy. But he's fatally wounded. And in those final moments, Tommy Shelby has just one last, devastating request.
This is just the ultimate moment of vulnerability. I mean, think about it. This is the man who controlled everything, who planned every single move down to the last detail. And he finally surrenders. He doesn't go out in some blaze of glory. No, he asks for mercy. He asks for an end to the curse of his own survival. And he asks his own son to deliver it.
And look, the filmmakers made a very deliberate choice here. They went for quiet, meaningful closure instead of some big, loud, action-packed finale. His death isn't a heroic sacrifice like you'd see in another movie. It's a quiet reckoning, the final, exhausted breath of a man who is just completely worn down by his own myth. That final burning pyre, it's not about a new beginning. It's about him finally finding a peace he could never, ever have in life.
And so, in the end, we're left with this one last, haunting question. The entire story works to strip away the legend, peel back the layers of power and invincibility, just to show us the broken man underneath. It forces you to ask, when a myth like Tommy Shelby dies, what's actually left of the man? And what is the true human cost of living a life like that?